All right, today is kind of a review of just a few little statistics things. We're going to get into that just a little bit. So here, just going over kind of the four basics. We got range of some data, which is a little different than we were talking about range of functions last week. But range and then mean, median, and mode. And if those kind of make sense and you want to jump right into the assignment, you can. I'm just going to go over a basic review of that here today. So the first one up is range. Now that's different than range of a function. Range of data values and range of functions use the same word, but they're two different meanings. So range of a function just means the y values or the answers that you get. And that's what that means. But when we shift gears and we start looking at lists of values, range just means the highest value minus the lowest value. So it is a little bit different when we're talking about functions and we're talking about data. When we're talking about data, which is what we're doing today, range is just the minimum. Here 8 minus the maximum. Here 30, or actually flip that, sorry, maximum minus minimum, 30 minus 8. Range should always be a positive number. So in this case, the range should be 22 because that would be 30 minus 8. Yeah, it's basics on range. Some of the other ones, we've got mean, median, and mode. You guys might know those, but just to review that a little bit, the mean is what I will be referring to it as. A lot of people say average, but they're actually mean, median, and mode are all technically averages. So when you say the word average, you have to specify which average you are using. Are you using the mean or the median or the mode? And in fact, there's lots of other types of averages as well. So you want to specify which average you are using. Are you using the mean, median, or mode? So the mean is where, again, you add everything up and divide by how many there are. So in this case here, we would just add up all these numbers, 8 plus 9, add everything up in there. If you want to skip ahead, you certainly can, but I'm just going to type in each one. 12 plus 13 plus 13 plus 18 plus 18 plus 20, 22, and 30. Oops, not 330. And so that's 183 is what all of those things I added up are. And then I see how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 total numbers. So that means that the mean here, what it is equal to is 183 divided by 12. And that we would have to use, probably a calculator to figure out, and that's 15.25. Yeah, that's what that mean is equal to. And that's how we find the mean. Total divided by the total number of things that there are, oftentimes called the n value, is the number of items in your list. And that's the mean. Median is the very middle or very center value. There's two ways, there's lots of different ways you can find the middle. Some people like to count kind of in towards the middle, right? So sometimes they'll go ahead and they'll start to cross things out. So they'll like cross out 8 and 30, and then they'll cross out 9 and 22 and 10 and 20 and 10 and 18 and 12 and 18, and then they get to 13 and 13. Those are the middle values, right? So then we should average those middle values or add them up and divide by 2, which in this case we would just get 13, right? So that is the median here is 13. And that's what we would have in that case. But I like to use a little bit of this formula here. That helps me a little bit, because if we want to find the middle of a bunch of numbers, right, what you kind of do is add 1 to the amount of values and divide that by 2, cut that in half, right? Because we have to include the first one. If you just take n divided by 2, it doesn't really include the first one. So like here, there are still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 values. So to find the position, right, this formula is for the position, I would take that amount, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay, yep, 12 plus 1 is 13, divided by 2 is 6.5. So I should go to the 6.5 position here. So I'm going to, figure this out. I should go to the 6.5 spot, right? That's what that formula tells me, is that I should go to the 6.5 spot, which is right in the middle, right? That's right here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. Okay, it's right here. It's kind of saying that's what we want. So I'm actually going to put a vertical line in that spot right here. Oops. Okay, that's what we would put down. Oh, or I'll put a line in there in your notes. Oh, there's one. Okay, I'm going to put a line right down there. And that would be where that median would be at. Let's make it nice and bright teal. And so I would average actually the two right next to that line if it doesn't point at a particular number. If it points at a particular number, then you just choose that number and we go with that. But if it's in between, you got to average the two on those two sides. So another example, again, just to show if they're not the same thing, here we can probably see the middle should be between 16 and 9. If you wanted to use that formula, again, we could say, well, there are 6 things. So 6 plus 1 divided by 2. So 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So I should go in this case to the 3.5 spot, which is right in between 6 and 19. So then that means in order, to get that, we would just average those together. So it would be 6. Did I say 6 and 19? 16 and 19. Yeah, 16 plus 19. And then we would take that and divide by 2 in that case, right? And then you could use your calculator or you could think about those things through. 16 plus 19 divided by 2. And we get 17.5. So that means the median is 17.5 in that case, right? That's what we would have there. Yeah, not too bad. Last one, the mode means the most often occurring. Okay, what is the one that shows up the most? Which in this case here, you could very quickly see, you just see, okay, there are 3 10s and no other option in here has more than 3 10s. So we would say that the mode in this case is 10, right? That's what we would do there. And that's pretty much it for the mode. It's not meant to be too complicated. You just count up which one has the most, and that's got to be 10 in this case. You can have multimodal situations where you have multiple modes. So like in this case, there are 2 10s, there are 2 13s, and there are 2 18s. So this one is multimodal, or you might say even trimodal, because it has 3 particular modes in there. And then to answer that, well, it would have 3 modes. And we'd say those modes are 10, 13, and 18, right? You can sometimes have things that are multimodal, in fact, in there. Okay, so I'll leave that for you. And that's it. Yeah, just to kind of review stuff today. Nothing too major. If you do have questions, let me know on that. If you want to go back and correct any other work, you can certainly do that, or just complete that as well. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, good luck.